A super team of American puppets saved the world from global terror. It's Team America. This comedy comes from the makers of South Park, a show I love. I've been watching it since I was 13 years old, but probably I shouldn't have been watching it at that age. As a Kuwaiti, Trey Parker and Matt Stone will always have a special place in my heart because they make Saddam Hussein sleep with Satan in the South Park movie. I have never seen Team America. Is it offensive or smart? Let's find out together. Yallah. We're in France. There's a kid and he walks into a man who looks like he's from Afghanistan. Long beard, Afghani style clothes, white headdress. We're already entering absurd territory. First, people don't typically wear their traditional clothes when they go to foreign countries. They'll throw pants and a shirt on. Second, if this guy is supposed to be a bad guy, you'd think he'd try harder to be disguised. I see this happen in so many movies. The foreign invader wears their traditional clothes in America. They'd be spotted in seconds. In the horrendous Chuck Norris movie, A President's Man, A Line in the Sand, this same thing happens. The bad guys are in their traditional clothes. Come on guys, at least try to blend in when you're plotting to destroy the world. A second guy pops up behind them. They play foreign sounding music. Okay, this singer is singing in Turkish. He's singing something like, I want to be your lover in this world. We hear them speak in a gibberish language that sounds silly. You could call it offensive because they're mocking other languages, but the words they're saying don't remind me of Arabic or Pashto. It sounds like baby talk. One guy has a briefcase with a flashing light. They are just out in the open with their evil ways and they don't care who sees. A siren goes off. Team America is here. A baqala is an Arabic word for a small neighborhood store that we say in Kuwait. He accidentally says a real Arabic word. Let me talk about the framing of their looks as Afghani, but then talking in an Arabic gibberish language. It's a poke at American ignorance. To a closed-minded American watching this, the people of the East are all the same. They're thinking, yeah, of course they're speaking in Arabic, even though they're from Afghanistan and those people speak Pashto. Or the makers of this movie are just being dumb and saying gibberish. A soldier is gonna fight a bad guy and they just kind of hug each other. This is setting the tone for the movie. It's absurd, silly, and dumb puppets. Another guy pulls out a rocket launcher and shoots it at the bad guy, but oops, it hits the Eiffel Tower and it falls onto the Arc de Triomphe and destroys it. This is an allegory to the United States. They want to police the world, but when they come in to quote unquote liberate a people, they do more harm than good. One example is the country of Iraq. They invaded the country, caused incredible amounts of destruction over 10 years, and the result is an estimated 200,000 Iraqi civilians died in the process. Another, America invades Afghanistan. Their goal was to eliminate the Taliban. 20 years, $2.3 trillion, and hundreds of thousands of innocent lives later, they leave Afghanistan. What happens? The Taliban walks right back in and takes over like nothing ever happened. Good job, America. It makes you question what the wars were for. If you want an answer, look at the weapons manufacturing, oil, and other companies that all have profited from killing innocent people. The destruction continues. They shoot a rocket into the Louvre. Then the team celebrates. Think about it. Who do you think would have caused more destruction? The bomb in a briefcase that maybe would have blown up a couple shops, or the destruction caused by Team America? This is a sweet satire of American foreign meddling. I applaud this hilarious satire. The French people look at them like they're complete buffoons. This reflects what most of the world thinks about the United States and their interventions. Spotswood, the leader of Team America, is trying to recruit an actor named Gary. He says, people want him dead. Who? Well, of course, the terrorists. Every single minute of every single day, the terrorists are planning new ways to kill you and everyone else who lives in a free country. This is a total exaggeration for humor, but the point remains. This type of thinking is part of the constant fear-mongering the American military-industrial complex spews. We hear it from presidents all the time. The terrorists are out to get you. They hate your freedoms. They'll never rest. To combat it, you have to join the American army to invade their lands. This movie came out in 2004, 3 years after 9/11, at the height of American hysteria. This type of framing is how the wars of Afghanistan and Iraq were sold to the American public. They used the horrific 9/11 attacks to feed on people's insecurities, to get them to go to war.
On September the 11th, enemies of freedom committed an act of war against our country. Night fell on a different world, a world where freedom itself is under attack.
This scene reflects this rampant fear-mongering that was happening during that time. Gary meets Team America and their supercomputer intelligence. Spotswood says the terrorists are planning something that would be 9/11 times 100. Then the guy in the back says, basically, all the worst parts of the Bible. Clarification time. I'm not laughing because it's taking a shot at Christianity. I'm laughing because this moment makes it clear this movie is taking a shot at everyone. This movie has Islamist extremists in it. It would have been so easy to make Islam the butt of every joke. Instead, they stop and go, oh, and by the way, have you read the Bible? That's hilarious. It's the movie reminding you that religious extremism isn't unique to one faith. The Abrahamic religions all have passages that can be used to justify violence. Thankfully, almost nobody lives that way. The vast majority of people have good hearts. They lead with empathy. They focus on the best parts of their religion, not the worst. A tiny, vocal minority builds an entire ideology around its darkest passages. This hurts the followers of the whole religion. You see it with ISIS. You see it with Christian nationalists in positions of power in the United States. And you see Israeli leaders who invoke the Torah to justify the destruction of Palestine and genocide of Palestinians. That's why I laugh at this. It refuses to let anyone claim the moral high ground.
What would you do?
This song is hilarious. I know it's a parody, but it could seriously pass as a legit country pop song from the mid-2000s. We see shots of Washington, D.C. with the puppet all around, and I'm getting nostalgic. I lived in Washington, D.C. for 6 years, and the city is so wonderful. I kind of miss it. We head to North Korea, and we hear stereotypical Asian sounds with a huge gong. This is one major criticism I have about Trey Parker and Matt Stone, their constant Asian racism. There is a ton of it in South Park.
Ni hao ma, South Park Elementary! Konnichiwa! How are y'all feeling? Yay, boy! Did you know that China and Japan are actually different countries? Oh, really?
How do you know you're not just feeding a stereotype?
We do. I'd be hypocritical to say, well, we do, and it's like, there's, especially with that guy, there's been, and it's like, but we're never just doing the thing of like, okay, all the laughs just come from him being a stereotype. Yeah, he's a stereotype, but the story is about this. I think that there's actually possibly some Asians out there that'll feel a little vindicated, to be like, yeah, there's a difference,
It's not satire, it's not witty, it's not trying to say something deeper. It's just, look at the way these people look, act, and especially talk. And yep, sounds like Trey Parker is voicing Kim Jong-il and doing the stereotypical Asians can't pronounce L's, so they change them all to R's.
Hello?
I have always found this offensive and stupid. Kim Jong-il is the former dictator of North Korea. We see him doing a deal with a scary looking person. He's wearing a large, stereotypical white Russian hat. He even has a Russian-like accent. Kim Jong-il incorrectly calls him Chechenian. The correct term is the Chechen people. Chechnya is a country to the south of Russia. It's 95% Muslim. The country has had a number of wars in the 90s and terroristic activities. A plot about North Korea teaming up Chechnya for horrible acts is plausible. They say Gary needs to look Middle Eastern. It's funny because it's vague, showing us how the Americans think of the people as monolithic. They transform him with surgery. It looks completely botched. One of the guys remarks, it's uncanny. This scene is clowning on Americans. They're so clueless about what Arabs or Afghani people look like, so they think this disguise could actually work. It's satirizing what Americans think Middle Eastern people look like. Then we get the famous song, America! F yeah. It plays as the team launches out of Mount Rushmore in their jets. I would say the word and play the song for you, but then the YouTube copyright bots would demonetize me faster than you can say karkade. We're off to Egypt. We see the pyramids and the Sphinx. For some reason, they play that same Turkish singing from before. I was wondering if they were going to go with an Orientalist song, But they don't. Arab scenes in a Hollywood movie without Orientalist music? This is new. We see people in a market. The clothing looks decently authentic. Cloaks, turbans, and head coverings. We see veiled women. This is actually pretty weird. American movies get clothes completely wrong almost every single time. It is refreshing to see they did research. But hold your camels. They add in a random zagruda in the background. A zagruda is a vocal ululation made by women. It's done as an expression of happiness. Why are we hearing it in a market scene? To let the American audience know this is Arab and foreign. Look at the camel. It's correct. One hump for Arabian dromedary camels. This guy hilariously reminds me of the Tusken Raider from Star Wars. Look at the people. It looks alright to me. But if you don't think so, let me know in the comments. Wow. Gary comes off the helicopter and he's wearing a literal towel on his head. This isn't offensive. Let me explain. Is an ethnic slur aimed at Arabs. It's a reference to the traditional Arab headdress. They put an actual towel on his head and wrap it up like he just left a spa. The joke is about the slur. It's funny that the American thinks this makes him look Arab. He's so clueless that he thinks is literal. It's mocking ignorant Americans and it looks nothing like a real Arab headdress. So to me, this is satirizing what Americans think as if this is gonna work, and it isn't offensive to Arabs. And to make it super clear, they wrapped it up like how you would do a towel at a spa. I mean, come on, it's silly. They're making sure you clearly know that this is a joke. Check out the background. We can see the Mosque of Muhammad Ali. This is in Cairo. I'm telling you, they put their time into authentically representing Cairo, and I'm kind of amazed. Most American movies or cartoons throw elements from all over Arabia into one place. That's what makes it Orientalist. The mixing and matching without a care, because they think it's all the same. But this comes off as legit. Credit to the set designers. There's two people in front of a blue door. The one on the right is wearing a shmagh, like this. Look at the pattern. It looks right. People, these are puppets. They could have thrown something together that looks vaguely like it, but they took the time to get the pattern right. That's more than what we see in a lot of other Hollywood movies. Add another point to the designers. There's a secret code scene. Listen to what this guy says.
Durka Allah, Muhammad Jihad.
Okay, this isn't making fun of Arabic. It's satirizing what Americans think Arabs sound like. They think we say Allah, Muhammad, and Jihad every other word. I think it's funny, but I do understand if people can see this as insensitive.
Durka Durka.
Durka Durka, Muhammad Jihad. It is so silly. We're in the tavern and another Star Wars reference. They're playing the Cantina band song. Oh no. They have a belly dancer in harem clothes on the right. This is Orientalist. The idea of a woman dancing in Arabian settings like this is an Orientalist sexual fantasy from the 17th and 18th centuries that still shows up today. It's disappointing to see here, especially since the common stereotype of hyper-religious Islamists is they force burqa on their women. Why would a harem dancer be here? It's off and playing into this negative fantasy. Gary gets taken to the leader. We hear the leader say this.
We have put out a jihad on the infidels because they destroyed our lives.
This is interesting because rarely do you hear the bad guy's side in American war films. They always frame it as the Americans being right while everyone else is wrong, and who cares what the other side thinks. In this movie, we hear he's against infidels because they destroyed his life. This mirrors reality. America says it needs to bomb a country, so it does. In the process, it radicalizes hundreds, thousands, even millions of people. Imagine your daughter is killed in an airstrike from a foreign country. Are you gonna shrug and say, it's okay, they were the right ones, it's all for global peace? Of course not. You're gonna hate the people who did it. This is how cycles of violence start. Gary is doing an emotional monologue, but the immersion is broken because he has to bring up goats. Arabs loving goats is a negative stereotype I see often hurled at us. But remember the framing. It's the dumb American bringing up the goats because it's what he thinks Arabs care about. It's revealing his stupidity. I get that the writers love throwing in silly things during serious moments, but I just don't like this inclusion here.
Bakalakadaka Street.
Bakalakadaka Street. Herka Durka, Jihad Burka. It's like baby talk gibberish. I really don't feel it's faking out the language. It's just being silly and really stupid. And that's why I let it slide and think it's funny. There's a car chase scene and yep, The Americans do it again. They blow up one of the pyramids. Okay, what? They drive to the Abu Simbel historic site. This makes no sense. Abu Simbel is in southern Egypt near the border of Sudan. It's not next to the pyramids of Giza, which are in Cairo. This is way off. Anyways, the Americans blow that up too. Sarah walks into the tavern and starts unloading without a second thought because she thinks Gary's inside. This is so funny to me because it's exactly what American action heroes do all the time. They're supposed to be the good guys, but they spray bullets everywhere, killing everyone, including potentially the people they're trying to save. True Lies does this. Harry shows up in the Harrier jet to rescue his daughter, then blindly opens fire into the building, but she could be inside. But you're not supposed to think about that. The heroic music is playing. You're supposed to be clapping at the man gunning down hundreds of evil bad guys. The leader says he's gonna kill Team America and himself. This plays into the Eastern bad guy self-deleter bomber stereotype. Throwing this stereotype in here is lazy to say the least. I'm gonna talk a little more about this later, so stay tuned. A Jeep flies into the air and explodes into the Sphinx, which destroys it. So now they went from Abu Simbel all the way back up to Cairo. This must have been a super fast car chase. The one guy says they did it. Triumphant music is playing, then it cuts to the Egyptian people in complete shock. Their land is burning behind them. It's very clearly mocking Americans and their idea of winning. It cuts to a newsroom scene and the anchor says, Yep, I want to point something out. You'll never hear American news anchors say this. They always twist the story to make America sound like the hero. Hans Blix, the former head of the UN weapons inspection team, shows up to inspect North Korea's nukes. What happens if North Korea refuses? The UN gets very, very angry and writes a strongly worded letter. It's mocking the United Nations. Many critics argue that the United Nations is all talk and little action. They often struggle to stop major conflicts or enforce their own resolutions. Just look at Palestine today. Decades of resolutions and condemnations, yet civilians continue to be genocided while the United Nations has little power to stop it. Free Palestine. We're off to the Panama Canal. You guys have got to help me out here. Does this look accurate? Or is it complete BS?
Of course, Durkistan.
Durkistan. Oh man, come on, this is funny. Unlike a made-up Arab name that sounds Arab-ish like Agrabah from Aladdin, this joke works differently. It's taking the suffix stan, which means land of or place of, like in Afghanistan or Uzbekistan. Then it sticks Durka in front of it. It's not riffing on an Arabic word, it's baby-like gibberish. That's why I think it's funny instead of offensive. And the best part, everyone says it with a straight face, like it's a real country. Hey, have you been to Durkistan? That makes it funnier. They introduce a fictionalized version of Michael Moore. He's an Oscar-winning American progressive documentary filmmaker. I love his Fahrenheit 9/11 and Sicko documentaries. He's going to be important a little later. There's an air fight scene. The terrorists say,
Durka.
silly, right? Then the North Koreans show up and the pilot says,
Bang, ping pong.
that's insensitive. Ping pong is a hugely popular and significant sport in North Korea. This adds to my argument that the South Park creators have an Asian racism blind spot. Michael Moore shows back up with dynamite strapped around his body. He blows himself up. This is completely messed up, but can we recognize something? There's an American performing a self-delete in a movie. This is wild, and let me explain why. Self-deleting bombings are heavily demonized in the West. Really, any act of self-sacrifice in war is. Whether it's Japanese kamikaze pilots in World War II or Islamist extremists on the streets of Palestine, it's portrayed as the ultimate evil. It's a moral dividing line. We're the good guys. They're the bad guys. They're willing to take their own lives for their cause. It also feeds into the stereotype of the religious fanatic. Most major religions, including Christianity, condemn taking your own life as a sin. So seeing an American do it in this movie feels bizarre, but that's exactly what makes the joke so juicy. It flips the stereotype on its head. Then Kim Jong-il sings a song called I'm So Lonely. But of course, because it's funny to the South Park guys, they switch out all the L's for R's. Lonely. It is so tiring. Aside from that, it's comedic to think Kim Jong-il would be singing about how he's lonely when Really, he's such a bad person. So I get the humor here. Gary is sulking in a bar. A drunk older man comes over to him and gives him a speech about body parts. I can't repeat it for YouTube reasons, but I will share my thoughts about it when it comes back up later at the end of the movie. There's a subplot where famous actors form an organization called the Film Actors Guild. The abbreviation spells out, well, you can guess. All the actors get tricked into going to a peace conference in North Korea. This is satirizing actors and the feigning of trying to be good people in the world. They want to be seen as standing up for what's right, for peace, for humanity, for the climate, but they're just puppets being used, which adds an interesting dimension to the movie. There's puppets who look and act like real actors, so the movie is saying that they're puppets too. It reminds me of celebrities who support Israel. They think they're spreading peace by saying both sides need to come together. But one side is an apartheid, imperialistic, colonialist state with nukes carrying out a genocide. In what world is this equal in any way? I go much deeper into this topic in my Zohan video, so check it out after this one. But that reminds me, remember during COVID when celebrities sang Imagine from their mansions? Who kicks it off? Hardcore Zionist plant Gal Gadot.
Imagine there's no heaven.
I puked up my falafel sandwich when I saw it. It's an example of the kind of empty performative activism this movie is mocking. Then we get another awesome song. We're gonna need a montage. Poking fun at 80s action films that have montages all the time. You know, some of the songs in this movie are peak. There's a shot of the countries attending the peace conference. On the right, we have two Arab nations, Oman and Libya. With Oman, we have a commander and a woman that's okay. But look at Libya. One guy is wearing a tall fez and the other guy wearing a shorter one. Yeah, no. Libyan politicians wear suits. This is off. Another Star Wars reference. Gary's in a brown cloak and waves his hands at the guards like a Jedi. And because it's a silly movie, it actually works. After a bunch of really fun and creative puppet action scenes, the team gets in front of the peace conference. Gary monologues with the same speech the drunk guy told him at the bar. They use body parts and middle school humor, but the message is interesting. Let me explain it with switching some of the words. America is arrogant. People are peaceful. Bad guys are evil. If America stops being arrogant, the bad guys will destroy the peaceful people. Everyone starts clapping. It's a confusing message. It argues that American dominance is necessary, that intervention and war are justified because without them, evil wins. This is weird coming from Trey Parker and Matt Stone. One criticism I have of their work is that they usually argue everyone is bad. South Park often ends episodes with both sides suck. Why can't we all get along? Sometimes that's true. A lot of times it isn't. Not every conflict has equal blame. So this speech feels like a hard right turn. It sounds like it's defending American supremacy and foreign intervention. Or maybe that's the joke. Maybe this isn't what Trey and Matt believe. Maybe it's a parody of what American warhawks believe. And that's why I like this scene. It forces you to think. Maybe I'm reading it correctly, or maybe I'm overanalyzing a goofy movie with puppets. Please help me. They stop the nukes from destroying the world. The movie ends with a freeze frame jump like an 80s movie. What do I think of Team America? It has problems. Some of the jokes lean into old stereotypes. The harem dancer is straight out of an Orientalist fantasy, and the casual Asian racism, it's stupid and trashy. Trey Parker and Matt Stone have always had a blind spot there. But we cannot forget the framing and context of this movie. It is completely ridiculous. It's puppets, it's silly songs, it's people exploding for no reason. It isn't trying to convince you Arabs are evil while Americans are heroes. It spends just as much time mocking Americans, making them look clueless and like violent idiots. They destroy landmarks, they kill innocent people, they blindly believe propaganda. They think a towel on someone's head makes them look Arab. The joke is them. It's a subversion of post 9/11 hyper-patriotism, Hollywood hypocrisy, and big budget action cliches. That's why I think this movie works more than it fails. It is mocking everyone. The terrorists, America, Hollywood, the United Nations, North Korea, actors, politicians. It mercilessly mocks both right-wing interventionism and self-important liberal celebrities. Nobody gets out alive. Does every joke land? No. Does every stereotype become okay just because it's satire? Also no. But when I judge comedy, I have to judge intent and context too. And this movie's goal isn't to punch down at one group. It's to make America and also the world look completely ridiculous through satire. Where's this movie going on my Habibi movie tier list? I'm putting Team America in C tier. It has Orientalist baggage, some jokes crash and burn, but it's also one of the funniest, weirdest, most absurd political comedies ever made. And somehow, underneath all the explosions, puppet silliness, and durka, it has something to say. What do you think? Am I giving this movie too much credit? Or do you think my critique is fair? All I know is this movie came out when I was 14 years old. If I watched it then, I would have been saying Herka Durka, Burka Durka Muhammad Ali all the time.